Hey guys, what is going on? Fly here. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, I do apologize. I still have some nasal osity issues. Hopefully we'll be going away soon. But holy crap, look what dropped today. The Gepard, the second and last of its name. So the reason why I didn't cover the ZSU-23 yesterday was because there was word on the streets that the Gepard was going to be added. And so I didn't want to spam too many dev blogs through the 1.63 release. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking all of the new high tier AA, the M163, the Shilka, and the Gepard, comparing them, contrasting which ones should be better, you know, and that kind of stuff. But first we're going to be talking about the Gepard, going through the dev blog, and then we're going to be going through the ZSU's dev blog, and then we're going to be comparing all three together. All right, let's get started. So on the devlog, the second word in the paragraph, they say pretty easy to pronounce, Flug hab va kanon panzat Gepard, or rather Flak PZ Gepard, was a German SPAAG that was introduced into service in 1970. Holy crap, I never thought we would be playing 1970 vehicles in War Thunder. If you think about it, some of these vehicles are young enough that people who play War Thunder actually served on them, potentially. At least different variations of them. But let's try that word one more time. Flugab, yeah? Flugab va Flugab va kanon panzer. Anywho, let's move away from that word as fast as possible. It was built on the chassis of the Leo 1 and outfitted with a fully rotating turret that had two 35mm Oerlikon auto cannons at its disposal. Oh, there's a little small thing they left out there is that, you know, auto cannon's cool, rotating turret cool. But I believe that the Gepard will have one of the fastest rotating turrets in the game. I don't know if you guys have seen videos of this tank in action, or SPAA in action, but online, on the YouTubes, this thing rotates so fast, I'm surprised it doesn't give the crew whiplash. So 3 quick notes before we move on and talk about the 35 or the twin 35mm autocannon is that the Gepard wasn't phased out until 2010. So 6 years ago, this thing was still being used in the German army, or AKA the Bundeswehr. So definitely plausible that some players who play War Thunder have also played real life War Thunder in the Gepard. Second thing is that the maximum armor on the Gepard is 50mm and the max speed is 65 kilometers an hour. Okay, now continuing on. All right, so the Gepard had 3 different types of ammunition. HEIT, high explosive incendiary tracer, with 120 grams of explosive mass. That has to be in one shell, right? Holy crap. A round called SAP HEIT with a maximum penetration of 35 millimeters at 1,000, blah, blah, blah. What we really care about is the armored piercing discarding sabot round with a maximum penetration of 90 millimeters at 1,000 meters at an arc of 90 degrees. So they don't tell us it's like max penetration up close and personal. However, I did do some digging, and these 2 guns pretty much have the same penetration of the ZSU-57 at very close range. So just going through my notes, the ZSU-57 at 10 meters has 142 millimeters penetration. At 100 meters, it has 140 millimeters of penetration. At 500 meters, it has a penetration of 116 millimeters. And here is where we get the money. At 1,000 meters, at 90 degrees, it penetrates armor 91 millimeters. So 1 more millimeter than the Gepard. However, I'm not too sure how armored piercing discarding sabot scales compared to just default AP rounds with a high explosive filler. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's a ballpark frank of where the Gepard AP DS might lie in War Thunder. So with that information, the Gepard is nowhere near killing the mainstay, medium, and heavy tanks at high tier for the Russian army. I mean, the Russian army had a different doctrine at the time, and they made sure their tanks were heavily armored. However, the Gepard has the speed. Remember that we are on a Leo chassis, topping off at 65 kilometers an hour. So it's pretty obvious that this AA is going to move across the map very quickly. But even just comparing it to the German army, think about how slow the Kugelblitz is. Think about how slow the Coelian is, you know? Now Germany's really going to get a fast anti-aircraft vehicle to get around the map and really use the Gepard how it's supposed to be used, for flanking, for shooting things in the side. Do you think that a tank's going to be able to respond when you hold the trigger down for 1,100 rounds per minute from 2 guns into their side at 35 millimeters? No, they're going to get destroyed. And I think even compared to all the other anti-aircraft vehicles in the game, this might be one of the fastest with this Leo chassis. Okay, so now on to the Shilka. One thing I need to note before we move on is that even though that these vehicles had radar and radar assisted guns and all that kind of jazz, we won't be seeing that in War Thunder. At least that's what they've been saying on the forums. Cool? Alright, so the ZSU-23-4 Shilka River of Fire. I'm just going to be honest right now. Even these whole 3 dev blogs that we're going to cover, the M163, the Gepard, the Shilka, I thought none of these vehicles would ever make it into War Thunder, but here we are. Holy crap. Okay, so a little bit on the dev blog. As the jet age of aviation arrived, it immediately became clear that previous anti-air guns were incapable of countering jet-powered aircraft. I don't know what they're talking about. I can't tell you how many times ZSU-57 players shoot me down in my Arado C3. But continuing on, various countries begin to design self-propelled anti-air defense systems capable of detecting. That won't be a really thing in war. Maybe detecting, we might be able to see. No, probably not. Firing and destroying fast-moving targets at various heights. So that was a nice introduction to the ZSU-23-4 Shilka. Let's dive a little bit deeper into what makes this thing so badass. So first off, this vehicle design was based on the ASU-85 chassis. So you might see some similarity between the design of the Shilka and the ASU. Now the turret housed 4 23 millimeter liquid cooled autocannons, and on the dev blog they say allowing the vehicle to direct a true river of fire towards, oh my god, towards the enemy up to 3,400 rounds per minute. Just FYI, if your computer struggles with like Kugelblitzes or Verbal-Vins, you're gonna have a really bad time this patch. But we're on to the section on the dev blog. They're talking about modern radar equipment allowed the Shilka to effectively engage air targets at heights between 100 and 1,500 meters, ranges of between 200 and 250 meters, and at flying speeds greater than 1,600 kilometers an hour. So I think this is just a synopsis of the real life Shilka. Again, we won't see any of the radar performance in the game. It's all going to be brain powered through your mouse, I hope, because if not, we're going to have to get the F-14 in here quick. We need to go Mach 2. Mach 2, boys. So just a few more things about the ZSU-23-4 Shilka, and then we'll compare all of these 3 new anti-aircraft vehicles to see which one you might want to use the most. So the devlog says, don't count on the ZSU-23-4 to make a good anti-tank platform. A volley of armor-piercing rounds into the side of a Leo or other lightly armored vehicle is guaranteed to send it back to the hangar. So it can kill tanks, but from the side. But the good thing is that, you know, well, there still will be ZSU front kills, but at least with this new anti-aircraft vehicle, instead of getting sent back to the hangar from the front, you'll just get a mouthful of FPS drop and different color incendiary bullets, or shells, I should say. So now the comparison between the Gepard, the ZSU, the M163, I always want to say ME163 with that guy, but we broke it kind of down into 4 small parts: max armor, max speed, fire rate, and muzzle velocity. So with those 4 categories, you can kind of see which one you would want to use the most. So we'll go ahead and start with the max armor. Now, compared to all of them, the Gepard has the most armor at 50 millimeters. The second one is the M163 at 45. That's aluminum, by the way, I believe. And then the ZSU has 15 millimeters of sheet metal, I think, or sheet armor. All right, max speed is 65 kilometers an hour for the Gepard, 50 kilometers an hour for the ZSU, and respectable 64 kilometers an hour with the M163. So right now, the Gepard has won 2 categories. But next up is rate of fire. The Gepard clocks in at 1,100 rounds per minute, 550 per gun, 1,100 from 2 guns. The rate of fire from the ZSU is 3,400 rounds per minute, and the M163 is 3,000 rounds per minute. So the Gepard is last in this one. The ZSU has the fastest, and the M163 comes in second. All right, now on to fire rate, or excuse me, muzzle velocity. So the Gepard clocks in at 1,440 meters a second. The ZSU-23-4 Shilka clocks in at 970 to 980 meters a second, and the M163 clocks in at 1050 meters a second. So with all this information right now, I think I'm going to go with the Gepard. With these new anti-aircraft vehicles being added into the game, you got the armor, you got the speed, you got the penetration potentially with the 35 millimeter round, and you have the muzzle velocity to make aiming at aircraft very, very easy. The downside is that we just don't have that rate of fire like the 3,400 rounds per minute Shilka or the 3,000 rounds per minute M163. So a plane might be able to slip through our 1,100 rounds per minute gun spray. But I'll just tell you right now, if one of those 35 millimeters hits anywhere, the plane's destroyed. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Just dropped on the dev blog very, very recently. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cover this one, but it's fucking awesome. We'll cover it for like 2 seconds. So this is a new German seaplane equipped with 4 turrets carrying quadruple MG-131 13.2 millimeter caliber machine guns, and the upper hemisphere is protected by a turret with 2 MG-151 20 millimeter cannons, a total of 18 guns on this beast. So more about this. This is the biggest plane in the game now, I think, with wingspan. Yeah, it's bigger than the B-29 and the Japanese H-6K Crocodile. I thought it was the Emily, but whatever. Yeah, so I'll link this devlog in the description below for you guys to check out more about it. But holy crap, some more custom battles to be had and some more formation bomber videos to come with the BV-238, the largest aircraft. All right, guys, well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Again, have a great day, and until next time, peace out.